The Exceptionally, Extraordinarily, Ordinary First Day of School by Lorenz. Welcome back to school, everyone, said Mrs. Dewey, the librarian. What do you think about the new murals that were finished over the summer? Before we discuss them, let's all welcome your new classmate. John, where did you move from, and how do you like our school so far? Well, I came from pretty far away. We had to travel down crocodile-infested rivers, fly in a hot air balloon across a vast jungle filled with wild beasts, and then hire a car to get here, said John. But I like it. It's ordinary enough. That is what my family is looking for. Ordinary. This is pretty similar to my old school, especially after my uncle painted these murals. John says, I wonder why the murals just stay on the wall like that. And he says, aren't the murals cool? And he says, all schools are the same. And this is the bookworm over here who says, murals are one of the world's oldest art forms. Murals have been found in prehistoric caves and have been painted through the ages by many peoples, including the Greeks, Mayans, Egyptians, and Chinese. And they are painted today. Did he? Asked Mrs. Dewey. They seem so lifelike. Tell us what was an ordinary day like at your old school. Well, here I walked to school, whereas before I had to take the bus. It was always a rowdy scene. Burp. Hey, you! Mary had a little fish, little fish, little fish. Mary had a little fish whose scales were orange and blue. She followed her to school one day. I want a fish. But Mom, I went to school last year. This place looks, pretty new, continued John. My old school was really, really old and kind of a hangout for ravens. It could be sort of messy. See all the birds? Those are the ravens. And this one says, okay, mates, let the bombardment begin. And the lion says, I'm so hungry. I'm glad school is open again. The rhino has a sign that says, follow me. And this lion goes, surely no one will notice just one stringy little kid missing. He says, that door looks like it might bite. You see all the teeth on the outside of it? Welcome, children, welcome, children, welcome, children, welcome, children. Our teachers welcomed us on the first day of school, just like here. But sometimes they made us sort of nervous. All the growling and lip smacking. There was always a kid or two who went missing. I mean, who didn't come back for a day too. You mean they transferred? Asked Mrs. Dewey. You could call it that, said John. We called it passing on. What kind of classes did you take, John? Asked Mrs. Dewey with a puzzled look on her face. In our natural science class, continued John, we saw a lot of nature close up, extremely close up, because Mr. Origins didn't believe in cages. We had to be careful not to get droppings on our tests. Parrot goes, Polly, want a froggy? And here's Mr. Origins. Now, class, look closely at your surroundings and let your surroundings look closely at you. She goes, that lizard just did something on my hand. Yuck! The squirrels down here say, look into our eyes. You are getting sleepy. And John says, leaping lizards, I mean frogs. I can guess what's for lunch today. Time machine. History was my favorite class, said John. Mrs. Olden Times said the best way to understand history was to meet and talk to people who made it. She introduced us to a lot of people. Who do we see in the picture? I see Abraham Lincoln. This is probably Sacagawea, maybe Harriet Tubman, the Great Sphinx, George Washington. I guess the past can get a little crowded sometimes. In band, continued John, the music seemed to come to life, and the instruments too. And he says, key of C. And the trumpet says, he floats through the air with the greatest of ease. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Boring, boring. Boing, boing, doo-da-doo. Alouette, gentle Alouette. This old man, he played one. Those are some crazy instruments. And what about the food in the cafeteria? Asked a kid. Delicious, exclaimed John, though sometimes sort of sad because we might eat what we studied in science that day. Burp, glomp, slurp, yum, smack. Today's menu, bug salad with crunchy squiggle worms, fish getty with gooey algae sauce, lively garden stew with sun-dried beetles, ladybug mini tarts, dessert, squirmy cricket delight, drinks, slime eel smoothie, and salamander soda. And what did you study in English class? Asked Mrs. Dewey with a frown. English was always rockin', answered John. The characters and places flew off the pages. Sometimes they would rearrange themselves in the stories, though, and that made test time hard. So here's the teacher. Now, children, reading makes stories come to life. So, how did you get to be a king? Here's the king. Miss Pandora, I really don't think I should open that box. I'm supposed to be reading. The frog turned into a prince. Are you sure, princess? It didn't work in science class. Books take us to greater heights, young man, but get down. Computer class was pretty basic, said John. Just programming and stuff. During recess, continued John, we would race horses, bungee jump, and parasail. It was great fun. He says, gee, Billy's parachute didn't open again. Over here, into the stratosphere. Look out for low-flying planes. My turn to skydive. Well, I think I'm a little dizzy. Mr. Modish, our art teacher, believed in freestyle art, said John, which always made a big splash on Parents' Night. Has anyone seen the purple? Glub, glub, glub. You look a little blue, as she splatters blue paint on him. Someone got paint on me. Once a year we went on a field trip, said John. We went on one last year, said a girl sitting nearby, to the zoo. Oh, that sounds like fun, responded John. We never went to places with animals or anything interesting like that. This kid said, I think I got moon dust up my nose. I gotta pee. Hey, this rocks. Well, John, what an extraordinary place your old school was, said Mrs. Dewey. It was too extraordinary, said John. I'm game for just plain ordinary, said John. Uh-oh, I don't think my uncle agrees with me. And here he says, we're the blood-sucking variety. And there are bats on top of the picture frame. And the dinosaur mural goes, grrr. And over here it says, let's go bite the kite and send it roaring. You're going to get eaten. When school was all was out, John walked home, just like the other ordinary students, though a lot of them appeared to be running pretty fast. How was your first day, honey? Did they like Uncle Fresco's murals? Asked his mom. They did at first, I think. The librarian wanted me to tell everyone about my old school, said John. Did you tell her and the class what a nice school it was? Asked his mom. I tried, but Mrs. Dewey and the kids suddenly all ran away. Can't Uncle Fresco paint a still life sometime? Here he says, gotta hang up. John's home from his first day at the new school. The end.